Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful and we're beautiful and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to apologize for the audio issues across the last couple videos. I recorded them in the same sort of batch, and poor Alexis Jonas got muted, and I was just devastated when I found out that to be the case. But I do very much appreciate the people that reached out and said, "Hey, do you know that this is muted?" No, but the situation has been solved. I figured out the problem, and so we move on. I think that Dragon Age: The Veilguard is the worst game of 2024. And when I say that, I know that there's going to be a lot of cope from certain people. I know that there are going to be some people that say, "Oh, you only are saying this because of, these certain elements. Oh, you only want to jump in on the hate for this game." And then there'll be other people who be like, "What about Concord?" I think that this game is more of a loss than Concord was because there was more to lose. Concord was an unknown. It may have cost Sony $400 million for the game, but it didn't cost me that. I didn't know the game, the franchise. I didn't care about Firewalk Studio, but I did at one point care about BioWare. I did at one point care about Dragon Age. And so, yeah, it is a much bigger loss to look at what once was one of the best game series that I had ever played, which is Dragon Age Origins, and to look at what it's become. Yeah, it's devastating. It had a much, much further drop. I look at the concurrent player count, and I look at the Steam numbers, and across the board, this game is just, it's a failure. And the people there that are trying to prop up this game and trying to say, no, 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 this game is really amazing and it's beautiful and trying to shift the goalposts, the reality is that this game had every opportunity to succeed. This game had every opportunity that you could imagine. It was a AAA game from a once notorious studio. People were banking on this game being good because they figured this is BioWare's last shot. They're not going to mess it up. They had all of the goodwill going into this game. And yet, they fumbled it in a way that I could hardly even imagine. They produced a game that is worse than anything that I've seen thus far. The designs for Concord were bad. But this is not just bad designs. This is a prolonged series of bad conversations throughout the entire game. A narrative that should be built around fantasy is built around trauma dumping and pronouns and other degenerate, disgusting filth from these freaks. And these people are freaks. And any person who feels the need to take a franchise or an IP and make it their dumpster for all of their baggage and their insecurities and inferiorities and their complexes and their issues, you're not right for gaming and you need to get out. You need to leave. There's no way that you can possibly justify Dragon Age: The Veilguard in its current state. And, by the way, for people saying, well, there's going to be more content, there's going to be more come, the answer to that is no. No, there is no more Dragon Age: The Veilguard. At this moment, Dragon Age: The Veilguard DLC is not even a thing. They are not even planning They are not even planning to do DLC. It says here's an article from Vice, which, by the way, take this with a grain of salt. But it says, if you want Veilguard DLC, Mass Effect has bad news for you. And so basically, it talks about how really there's not going to be any DLC for the Veilguard, and I understand why. The game didn't sell well enough to give you DLC. The game was a failure by every metric. I would put money on the fact that The Legend of Zelda, what was the game? Echoes of Wisdom. I bet you that sold better than Dragon Age: The Veilguard. And so if we go to Twitch right now, and I do use this as a barometer in a sense, and I know that it's very, very, very early in the morning on a Tuesday. But even still, it's not an excuse because World of Warcraft has 51,000, Minecraft has 61,000, Fortnite has 62,000. I mean, I understand it's a single player game, but 16,000 people. 16,000 people. That's it. For a game that just came out over the weekend. Do you understand? The Dragon Age Origins, the numbers would be infinitely more than this. Because people were so excited when this game came out. The hype around Dragon Age Origins was unreal. And to watch it be reduced to what it has been degraded to is unreal. It is unbelievable. And so I think it's the worst game of 2024. And if you need me to go over the dialogue again, I'd be more than happy to. Yeah, in fact, let's do that. Let's refresh your memory so that you know that I'm not just talking out my ass.
Character Taj.
Jathan said to eat the fruit before it spoils.
I like the cookies better.
Everyone liked the cookies better.
I'll eat the fruit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Avatash.
Panahe done. I'll see you soon.
So, the Dragon Hunter has a softer side.
The Kyun says you take care of people.
So, you're a little Kunari, a little Rivani, and a little dragon?
Yeah?
I get that.
Oh,
Come on. I should tell my mother how Karash is doing.
God. It's atrocious. What that little thing say? You've chosen to encourage Tosh by focusing on the benefits of a multicultural background. That is just the most dog shit, propagandistic, left wing, low IQ, just virtue hungry. Not just virtue signal. That is virtue starving. That is we're such good people. We're gonna talk about the benefits of a multicultural background. The fuck. It's so abominable. These freaks are just so pathetic, and they never learn from their mistakes. Like a normal human being with a functioning brain, when they make a mistake, when they make an error, they can examine it, they can adjust, and they can not make that same mistake again. That's just called being human. That's called having a brain. These people continue to double down, thinking that, no, I didn't make a mistake. No, the mistake was with you. You made a mistake. You need to change to service me. And the answer to that is absolutely fucking not. I'm not going to use your pronouns. In fact, the more that you do stuff like this, you hurt your cause more than you could possibly imagine. Because you generate so much bad will by being such a toxic, irredeemable pile of shit. By being such a disgusting, bottom-feeding, desperate for attention, everything's about me type of bitch, you alienate more people than you could possibly imagine. And you make them become very animated against you. You create a lot of animus. You generate the type of thing that you then say, well, we're a victim of. No, it is a creation of your own. This character Tosh is one of the most disgusting. I can't recognize myself in this character at all. There's nothing relatable there. They're an asshole. They treat other people, including their own mother, with contempt and yell at them and mistreat them. You know, the scene with the at the dinner table. I don't know if we're gonna hit on that scene. Oh yeah, this scene right here is such a perfect encapsulation where these freaks, these disgusting freaks, think that they are entitled to treat you in any certain way because they feel a certain way. The reality is that in this scene, the mother is trying to understand what the hell this freak is saying because it's nonsense. I'm non-binary. I'm going to go by they. No, you're not. You're one or the other. You're a man or a woman. It really is that simple. There is nothing in between. You're not non-binary. But what you've done with this, by putting this propaganda into the game, is you have made a lot of people, and myself included, non-binary. B-U-Y. That's such a great line that people have trotted out. Yeah, we're non-binary. We're not buying your shitty fucking game. We're not buying your game. And do you know what that does? It further cements the fact that Bioware is not fit for purpose. It doesn't have a value anymore. And guess what EA is going to do very shortly? They're going to start laying people off. They're going to start getting rid of them. Because Sony, the gaming industry, they just shut down Fireworks Studio. That was like 150 people that lost their job. They have nothing else to gain from Bioware at this point. All of their franchises have been polluted. EA would be better served by gutting Bioware to its core, keeping the name, and then using it as like a skin suit and giving the IPs of Mass Effect to other companies. And that's already what they're doing with Knights of the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic is getting a quote-unquote remake. And Bioware isn't even invited, and you know what? People aren't mad about it. I think it's so clear that we have a major problem here. And that is that when you get these freaks into these positions of authority, they refuse. They refuse to listen to the audience because they want to look down on you. They want to condescend to you. They want to treat you like you're garbage. Because if you're garbage, well then they're so much better than you. But the reality is that they're the garbage. They're the filth. They're degenerate, low IQ, self-worshipping freaks. And they create scenes like this that are immediately off-putting to anyone who's forced to pay attention. You know, Asmongold here, he gave the game a 6 out of 10. And that was an indefensible score from my view, because the game is a 2 out of 10. And that's being generous. The game is atrocious. It is bad. And it is rated more harshly, yes, because it is a Bioware game and because it is a Dragon Age game. And Dragon Age and Bioware, these are high fantasy or, dark fantasy ideas where the dialogue and the relationship with the characters and all of that is the most important thing. That is the core of it. The gameplay is nice, but you don't play a Bioware game for the gameplay. You play a Bioware game for the story. And in the past, they've demonstrated that they can do that flawlessly. But for some reason, and we know why, because the company has been infiltrated by these degenerate, low IQ, low value freaks. These disgusting, godless, soulless bottom feeders. These people that are diehard in the wool for this cult. They have decided that it is far more important to adhere to this disgusting worldview rather than do what they know that they should do, which is to give the audience, give the customer what they want. And what does the customer want? Well, a variety of things. Number one, attractive women. In the character customization, you should be able to create a woman that looks like whatever you want. But unfortunately, the maximum body type for this game is a woman with A-cup breasts and no ass and no real hips. So you're meant to create a woman who fits within the Overton window of trans inclusion, which basically is they can't really look like a woman. Because if they look like a woman, well then trans women, which are not women, which are men pretending to be women, are going to be offended because they can never look like that. They can never look like an actual woman because they're not an actual woman. They're a man that has severe mental illnesses. Or they're a man that has a perverse and disgusting fetish of wanting to dress up as a woman. So no matter which way you cut it, this game in every metric, in every way, is inferior to games that are not only coming out this year, but games from BioWare from the past 15 years. And when you compare the dialogue, when you just go through videos like this, you can see the utter disappointment. Because it's just like there's nothing about this character that resonates with anyone, and it downgrades the whole experience. But this character was obviously the linchpin in which they thought was going to prop up the whole franchise. They put so much into this character. And by the way, in the past, you would have been able to kill this character off. Absolutely you would have. But these people know, these freaks know, that you despise their ideology, and rightfully so, so much, that you would have done almost anything to get rid of this character. Do you remember in Dragon Age the Veilguard, or I'm sorry, Dragon Age Origins, there were quest lines where you could kill or sell like one of the people that could potentially be like a teammate. I thought that was incredible. I thought that level of choice was amazing. Like you could kill members of your team. Another game that doesn't get talked about much, but it's Fire Emblem. And I'm not talking about the ones for the consoles. Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advanced. One of the things that always just mesmerized me about that game is you could kill the majority of your team by just not recruiting them. And to recruit them, it wasn't always an easy thing. You would have to get the right person and get them to talk to the character, and then you converted them over. But if you didn't, in some instances, they'd just attack you, and you could kill them. A character, and you could do that multiple times. You could go through multiple characters, and just get rid of them. It was, kind of amazing because we're not given that choice anymore. But if I could impart one thing to you, it's that Concord may have been a more notable failure. But from my point of view, it is undeniable. It is undeniable that this game, Dragon Age the Veilguard, has had more of a negative impact on the gaming community than Concord did. This game had every opportunity to succeed, everyone handed to them, and yet it failed, and failed spectacularly, and it has nobody but itself to blame. And so all of the people coping online and raging and shilling for this game, you're just pathetic. You simply are just goddamn pathetic. You should, I know that you won't because you're a loser, but you should expect more for yourself, for your dollar. You shouldn't just sit by and accept the fact that this company thought that they could buy reviews to trick you into spending your money. They thought that they could artificially generate an environment and a narrative where the game was well received. And that just simply isn't the case. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.